All right, folks, howdy howdy, welcome back. We have a medium puzzle today. Okay, let me take a look. I like this lane. Lanes are fun. See this lane here, and this lane here, and lane here. Those are great. See, my one here comes up, my one here comes up. Only one spot here for a one. Also see this lane here and this lane here. You got a four and a four across the bottom in the middle, four down the center. 4, 8, 6, and a 2 right down the center. Well, this 2 is nice, and this 2 comes across here. Alleys and lanes are great. Even here, see this alley and lane? We have an 8 and an 8 that come across, so only one spot for the 8. We have a 2 and a 2 that come across, so we actually have 2 spots for the 2 for now. Let's see, a 9, a 3. Lots of cool numbers. Let's see here. Alleys are wonderful. See this 9. Oh yeah, these ones have nice alleyways too. And this 9 comes across. We know a 9 has to go here or here. So I have a solid 9 here, and I have what I call a ghost column. No matter which one of these two is a 9, I cannot have a 9 anywhere else in this column. It's a ghost row, so it's a way of determining where a 9 can't be, even though I don't know exactly where it's at. But if there's only 2 spots, that column, or if it's horizontally, that row is fully occupied. Okay, now this 6 comes right down this lane. I got a 6 across the top, 6 across the bottom. Only one spot left for the 6 there. I have a 2. Comes down the left side, so I have to have a 2 in one of these spots. All right, I got a 1, and a 1, so one of these two has to be a 1. Got a 1 and a 1, so one of these two has to be a 1. I've got a 1 and I got a 1, so one of these two has to be a 1. Okay, so this is a cool technique called a crisscross or a X-wing. I call it a crisscross. That's what I've called it forever. Somebody else called it an X-wing. If you'll notice that in 2 of the cubes, the 1s line up. So if the left column here is a 1, that means this one can't be a 1. It has to be over here. See how it kind of creates an X pattern? If this is a 1, well, then this one has to be a 1. But either which way, if you have this X formation, then that means both columns, this left column and this right column, are taken care of. There cannot be a 1 in any other one of those. So that means this cannot be a 1. Now, the other way to see that this is the only one that's a 1, if you just look for a count, this one blocks this one, this one blocks this one, this one blocks this one. So in this column, the only place to actually put a 1 is there. But I saw that it was a good opportunity to see what a crisscross or a X-wing pattern does. So that's beautiful. Okay, let's see what else we have. Okay, so I've looked at most of the alleys, so now I'm going to start going back just a little bit and I'll start looking at my pairs. So I'm going to start here at these top 3, and I see a pair of 8s and an 8 through the center. So no 8 on the bottom, no 8 through the middle, no 8 through the center. So I have to have an 8 left or right. Oh, no, I can't have an 8 in the left. Look at that, or the right. My center and my right and my bottom and my middle are all taken care of. There's only one spot for the 8. Silly 8. Okay, we've got the 1s identified. That looks like the only pairs that I see at the moment. I do notice a 4 and a 4, vertically and horizontally, so I only have 2 spots left for the 4. So let me throw that in there really quick. Also, I notice the same thing here, a 4 and a 4, so my 4 has to be here really quick. All right, so now let me move down to these 3. We've got the 1s, we've got the 2s, we've got a 3 across the top, a 3 across the bottom. Only place for 3 now is in the middle. Let's see, only have 1 4, but see now this 4 comes across. I have a ghost column that tells me this can't be a 4, and a solid 4 that tells me this can't be a 4. So the only place for a 4 is right there. So now I have a solid 4 in the top, 4 through the middle, 4 through the right, and 4 down the center. Only spot left for a 4, and that is all the 4s in the game. Okay, 5s, I don't have any help. Let's see, do I have any helps on 6s? Okay, so this 6 comes across, and it tells me that one of these two is a 6. I now have a 6 that comes across, and I have a ghost row. Tells me this can't be a 6. I have a solid 6 through the center, so the only spot in this cube that a 6 can go is right there. Okay, so now looking vertically real quick, just for these two 6s, it can't be in the middle, can't be in the right, so it has to be in one of these two on the left. Just throw that in there. Now this one does come across and also can only be in one of those two spots, which also now helps clean this one up. This cannot be a 6 because I have a ghost column helping me with a ghost row. Isn't that cool? Ghosts are so nice. All right. Okay. All right. Now, anytime I've only got 2 numbers, I like to see what I'm missing. Or 3. I got 3 numbers missing here, too. So it looks like I'm missing a 5 and a 7 this way. And it looks like I'm missing a 9, 5, and 7 this way. See, the 9 can't go here, but the 9 could go either one of those two. And then a 9, a 5, and a 7. Okay, let's see. Let's come down to these third 3 pairs and see. We've got our 1s marked out. I've got my 2 and my 2 marked here. Okay, I've got a 2 that comes across, 2 that comes down. Still have 3 for my 2. I got 3 numbers missing here. I've got a 1, I need a 2, so 2 goes in one of these 2 spots. 3, 4, 5, 6, I need an 8 and a 7. Okay, so see my 7 and my 2? Neither one of them can go here. I'm missing a 7, a 2, and an 8. So with a 7 and a 2 here, the only spot that my 8 can go is here. And then these are 7s and 2s. Those are double locked as 7s and 2s. They cannot be anything else. So let me throw that in there. 2 and a 7, 2 and a 7. That completes that column. That's fully marked out. Okay, so we've got our 1s, we've got our 2s. Did we find anything for 3s? Not a ton of help just at the moment. That's okay, we'll come back to that. We've got all of our 4s. Any help on the 5s? Not really. We've got all of our 6s. I've got a 7 here that doesn't help out a ton over there. Doesn't help a ton over there. We've got 2 8s coming across the top in the middle and an 8 down the left side. There we go, that helps. I think that is all of the 8s in the puzzle. That is great. Okay, so there's 2 numbers missing here, 2 numbers missing here, and 2 numbers missing here, which they're all the same numbers. So we're missing a 5 and a 7. 5 and a 7, 5 and a 7, 5 and a 7, 5 and a 7. And when those start to cascade, they will all just help each other right out and solve each other out. Let's see what else I have. So down here I need a 9, a 5, and a 3. Cool. So see this 9 and this 3? If I use this spot and I count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5 is missing. 6, 7, 8, 9. The only number that can go here is a 5. So that's one of those 5s we've been holding out on. It's been holding us down a little bit. Now I got 2 numbers missing here. It looks like a 3 and a 9. Is that correct? A 3 and a 9. That looks like the 2 numbers that are missing. I was just looking horizontally to see if there's anything that can help us out. Okay, a 3 and a 9, a 3 and a 9. All right, and then I also have a 3 and a 9, and then it looks like I'm missing a 5. So my 5 can be either one of these ones, and then the other one that's missing. So see, I have a 3 here. So this can be a 5 or a 9. This one has a 9, so it can be a 3 or a 5. Okay, and what am I missing here? A 5, a 9, and a 7. Cool. So I'm just looking at this column. Sorry if I 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a 5. Well, I can't have a 5 here, but it could be one of these two. 6. I need a 7. Can't be here, so it could be here or here. 8, and then I need a 9. Well, I can't have a 5 or a 9 in any one of this spot here, so that has to be our 7. Only place that a 7 will fit. So this is now a 5 and a 9, and this is now our 5 and a 9. Okay, all right, okay. We're chugging along here. Boop, ba-doop, boop, boo. Okay, I'm just kind of looking at the columns now that we've kind of gone all the way around. I'm just starting back towards the top again. I noticed this particular cube is missing quite a few numbers. We put quite a few in, so let's take a look. I've got my 1. I have a 2 across and a 2 up the middle. So my 2 has to be here or here. I have a 3 across the top and a 3 across the bottom. So my 3 has to be here or here. 4. I've got a 5 up the left side and a 5 across the middle. So I could have a 5 here, here, or here. I got 3 spots. Okay, we've got my 6 identified. It's over here. All right, we've got a 7 that comes up, so any of these could be a 7. 8. 9 can't be across the top. But it has some choices. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's see what else we're missing here. Okay, so we have to have a 7. Gotcha. Okay, so this 7 is going to help us here in the middle. See how I can't have a 7 here? So that means our 7 has to be here. Now, if we look up in this top one, we have this 2 and 7, but we didn't mark any of the other ones that could be a 7 because there was too many. Now, this ghost column says that this is the only spot a 7 will fit. I cannot put a 7 anywhere in this column because one of these two has to be a 7. So this is going to help me out with this one. It has to be our 2. Now one of these two was a 2, but that makes this one our 2. One of these two was a 1. I got to clean up my 2. Now up here, one of these two was a 1. Now it can't be here, so it's forcing our numbers to just kind of cascade. Let me clean up my 1. All right. Okay, and now that's very clean and neat. Very good. All right. Okay, so now we have a 9 across the top, a 9 through the middle. So one of these two has to be our 9. And what just happened, folks, is remember that X-wing? We just did it again. Look at this. See, our X is in the middle and the right. Look at this, middle and the right. So now it creates an X pattern. So no 9 can be in the middle and no 9 can be in the right side in this third cube. The other way to look at it is this particular column needs a 9. I can't put a 9 here and I can't put a 9 here. So this is the only spot that a 9 can even go. But again, I like to point that X-wing pattern out when we see it. Okay, so if this can't be a 9, that makes this one our 5, makes this one our 9. Okay, if that's a 9, that makes this one our 3, makes this one our 5. If that's our 3, that makes this one our 9. Okay, now I have 2 numbers missing, which is a 2 and a 7, but I can't have a 2 here because of this guy, so the only number that can actually fit is our 7. Makes this one our 2. All right, only got 1 number missing in this cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. All right, got 1 number missing here, and that looks like a 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is missing here. All right, when there's just one number missing, that makes it pretty easy. Okay, so 5 and 7, 5 and 7, 5 and 7. Bet you this one's a 5 and 7 too. All good though. All right, so we did sort this 9 out, and one of these two had to be a 9, so it has to be over here. So now let me clean up my 9s here. All right, so we still have some choices there. I got to be careful. I didn't fully mark everything out, so I don't want to trip myself up. Okay, so we have two numbers missing here. Looks like a 3 and a 7. I can count the cube and I can count the row here. So let me mark a 3 and a 7, a 3 and a 7. I'm looking vertically to see if there's anything that can help me out with those just yet. And I'm not seeing a solution jumping out at me, but that's okay. We'll just take this one little piece at a time. So we have our 4 and our 6. What's the other? And we're missing a 2. So see, this 2 comes right down the middle. So now this is nice and clean. That cube is fully documented, if you will. Okay, now this 2 does come through the middle, and we now have a 2 in the center and a 2 in the right, which means this is the only one left to be a 2. Before I write that 2, I notice one of these two has to be a 6. So when I do this 2, this is the only spot left for a 6. Now this 6 comes down here and says, well, it can't be a 6 there. That makes that our 4, makes that our 6, makes that our 2. Okay, one of these two is a 4, but it can't be this one anymore. There's our 4. Let me clean up our 4. Okay, right, so I have one number missing in this row, which just so happens to be a 5. Okay, we got two numbers missing here, which looks like a 3 and a 7. 3 and a 7, so let me just jot those guys down. A 3 and a 7. 1, 2, I do need a 3. Well, the 3 cannot go here in the middle. So let's put a 3 over here. 4, now I need a 5. Now the 5 cannot go here, but the 5 could go up here, which gives us, again, a ghost row. You see how the 5 can't go here? One of these two has to be the 5, which we already know this is already can't be a 5 here. I should have marked that feller off. Oh, and it can't be a 3 anymore because I got this 3. That takes that one out of there. So I've got a 3 and a 7, and the only place for the 3 to go is here, which puts our 7 up here, and that's just going to cascade everything for us. So we've already got a 7. There's our 5. There's our 7. There's our 5. There's our 7. There's our 5, there's our 3, there's our 7, there's our 3, there's our 7. And there you have it, folks. We saw some cool X-wing or crisscross patterns. These ones were just purely for, I guess, academic, just to see them, because we had other ways of just doing eliminations that we could still have gotten the numbers that we were looking for. Very important. I almost got myself tied up a couple times because of my pencil marks. I've told the story lots of times. I had a really good friend, neighbor of mine, who was trying to learn how to play and would start off and write every possibility in every single square before he even got started, and it just made his paper so overwhelming with all the numbers. So I try only to write 2. I always recommend, if you want to play along with, is to pause the video, print you off a couple copies, and give it a whirl. And then we'll see if we can solve it together. Thanks for watching, folks. I always appreciate any comments, suggestions, or challenges. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.